Hey guys, it's the Reverend Matthew David Hurtado, the Minister of Allowing. And tonight, I am a little late because I'm sitting at the yacht club looking at the water and the boats and all this. And I had my phone and it doesn't live stream because I don't have the app for Facebook on it. So anyway, I had some technical difficulties, but I'm here and I got a chance to use my phone to make a video that I'm going to put up later. That's a good overview of what I'm going to talk about right now. So it'll be my next video I post on YouTube. But I'm going to talk about serving up your life in a way that you want it to be. And I'll just wait for everything to catch up here because I'm about 10 minutes late. So, recently we just got done with the workshop and I was thinking about, the 3 times out of the past 8 years that I scaled up and we did, a lot of money those years. I thought, what was it that made it all happen so easily? And it was very simple. I'm going to tell you what the things are. And I'm going to talk about money tonight. I'm going to talk about prosperity. I'm going to talk about, in regards to prosperity, the money part. So that's the part I want to talk to you guys about. So if you're out there and you're tuning in, just let me know. So Lisa, hey, good to see you, Lisa. Maybe I can show you guys real quick. This is what I was just sitting there looking at the water. It's really pretty out here. We live about a block away. This is our new area. And I was out here just, reflecting and thinking about what we're going to do this year that's going to make it, just to the next level. So what it's going to be is to make your dreams come true. Everybody wants to make their dreams come true. And trust me, I know what that feels like. I was, like I said, bedridden, bankrupt 2009. And then within a couple of years, 7-figure income. So how did you do that? How do I do that? Well, you know what it takes? I'll give you a story of what it takes. I'll go back to when I played hockey. When I played hockey, first of all, I loved the game. I loved it. And so it was more like a mission. It wasn't really a game. It was like, this is my life. I love it. So I was coming from that place of that, that passion, that excitement. So the key is you have to come into that excitement. Hey, Tyrus, good to see you here. So if you're in the excitement, you're coming from the passion. That's a very bold and powerful thing. And so I played high school hockey and it was so easy for me. And my coach, Bob Sitter, said, well, listen, why don't you scale it up? Why don't you become greater? Why don't you come skate with kids that are an elite team and we'll go play the best teams in the country? Forget all this little high school stuff. Let's go play some real hockey. And so I remember I said, yes, I'll do it. And so that's another key that you understand. You must be willing. Hello, Brian. Good evening. You must be willing to play up. I'm going to promise you something. You're not going to get to where you want to be without scaling your life up and including some higher caliber people in your life. It just won't happen. So if you don't bring higher caliber people into the perspective, I'm sorry, but you won't stretch to meet, because it's like the law of, downward progress is what seems to, happen over time. That's what was happening with my high school hockey career. Is it was so easy for me. I was getting lazy and I was creating shortcuts to make my life even lazier. That's what people do. They make their lives even lazier over time. So Bob said, come skate with these elite athletes. And I remember the first practice, I was walking out on the ice and I was so humbled. These guys were good. Like, they were so good that I was like nothing but average on that team. I was scared that I wouldn't even be able to play on that team. And so what happened was I had all of these fears confront me, very similar to how you'd feel if you, like, all of a sudden went and hung out with somebody who's a billionaire and they said, well, hey, let's talk about money. I mean, inside you'd secretly probably feel a little inferior if you're not at that caliber. And so what I did that made all the difference was I decided to make it okay to be where I was at, but I also decided not to quit. And so I kept skating with these guys. And what happened is, well, we went to go play against Shattuck St. Mary's. It was probably the best team in the country at that time, and we beat them 4-1. And I remember I played a large percentage of that game, and I actually played at a level where this is where I was at, and this is just a few weeks into this. I was playing at a level that was right here. Okay? Now imagine if your income's right here. Imagine if this is your income, and you want your income to go here, but yet you're sitting here and you're like, I can't do anything. It won't budge. I can't get my income to go up. Won't budge. Well, I want you to listen to that story. I want you to see what's in that story, because that story contains the secret. All right? So there are two components in that story that are important. Is you're going to need expectation and you're going to need training. Okay? Two things: expectation and training. How you birth expectation in your finances is through the seed. It's the only influence you have. It comes from your place of what you're willing to play with. If you're willing to play with big money and you're willing to let go of big money, you're going to be willing to receive big money. But if you get a little bit of money and you hold on to it and you're scared, well, scared money never made money. All right? I'm sorry, but people just can't play at a higher level if they can't play at a higher level, okay? So you have to be willing, and you have to be willing to go through that fear. The seed principle is so important. Your only influence over your future is the seeds that you sow. Now, that's expectation, but you need to have strategy. Strategy comes from playing at a higher level and learning from people that force you into scaling at a higher level. So how do you do that in real life? You do that through mentorship. Mentorship is success without the weight. So if you get training, for instance, you come to the Spiritual Millionaire Workshop, you learn how to train yourself to be an elite performance athlete. Now, I consider myself an elite athlete, physically, but I also consider myself an elite emotional athlete, because I'll tell you what, it was damn hard to go from bedridden and bankrupt when I had Lyme disease to scaling up to 7 figures in a couple years, because every step of the way, low self-esteem, resistance, and doubt tried to knock me off my journey, just like it does everybody else. So how did I bypass all that? I bypassed it all because of the seed and because of the training. Okay, the seed and the training, and I started to surround myself with people that were so comfortable around large sums of money that it started to like rub off on me, where I started to speak exactly like they did. And what you speak about is what you create, because it comes out of the heart, out of the mouth. And it happened because I had the training to go through the obstacles, through the resistance of the mind. The mind is your enemy. The who, what, when, where, why, and how is Satan. It's the 6 degrees of separation through the 3 kingdoms. 666, inner, middle, and outer kingdoms. You're a triune being. You have an inner, middle, and outer kingdom. The inner kingdom is the place of the feeling. It's where you get the blessing. So the inner kingdom is where you have to use the ABC break process training, right? You have to come from the feeling of what you want through your action, because that feeling into the action equates to the seed that you are expressing into the world. That is your action, cellular memory, reaction, karma. That's how that works. So every action you take is not as important as how you're taking the action with the quality of your vibration, your energy. And that's why my 3-2-1 prosperity formula at Matthew David Hurtado is so important. And I promise you, if you're not prospering at the highest level, I'm going to tell you why right now. You're going to do a checklist, and I'm going to show you why you're not, because I had to do this with myself. I said, Matthew, why are you not making $10 million a year or more right now? What the hell is the problem? Well, what it is that I got comfortable being comfortable, and I stopped stretching. I stopped reaching for higher caliber, okay? I stopped saying that more is a good thing. And I'll tell you why it's a good thing. It's just like it was in hockey. I'm playing on the high school team, and I was, a star on the high school team. I was a big fish in a small pond. There's no growth there. There's no spiritual development there. There's nothing to cause me to go through any more fear, which requires any more faith. And that's the spirituality behind wealth accumulation. Is because every step of the way, if you're doing it from a spiritual principle foundation, it requires you to step into more faith every time, and you're commanded to live by faith. Now, here's what happened when you stop stretching. When you stop increasing yourself, you become very, very set in your ways, and you start to live up here. You start to think that you have all the answers because you got here, and you start to live through reasoning, and that is a sin against God. You are commanded to stretch. You are commanded to grow. So what you have to do is you have to honor that principle, is you have to expand yourself. You guys didn't get to see this because you guys are late, but I was here at the yacht club making my video, and we live about a block away. I wanted you guys to see this. And I was just watching the sunset go down at the yacht club, and I was setting my vision on what I'm going to bring to the next workshop. I think it's important that you guys know this because I have to do what I teach. You know, I have to actually come from that place. So I'm going to make a sizable investment into some very, very high-end mentors, because every time that I've smashed through all my barriers, just like when I said yes to go skate with a team that was better than me, okay? I said, yes, I'll do it. I was scared because they were going to see right through me. They're going to see all my weaknesses. They're going to be exposing me in all of my vulnerable places, okay? What's that require to get through? It requires faith to get through that, and training. You have to have training and faith. Now, I said, okay, I found my mentors. I know the price. I'm going to pay the price, and I'm going to get the mentorship from the people that I want because they're up here and I'm here. So what will that do? I'm going to start playing up. And when you start playing up, it starts forcing you into activating faith, which produces miracles, and you start to demonstrate more. And this is why it is so important that you guys understand that it's not okay to remain idle. It's not okay to remain idle. And I'll tell you why. My grandfather gave me the best lesson in my life when he passed away at age 12. When I was 12, he was like 65. He just retired. And what happened was he used to always tell me that when he retired, he was going to live his dreams. Now, I got a good point here, so stay with me. Well, as soon as he retired, he had bumps all over his skin. Okay, he had lymphoma. Started showing up all over his face, all over everywhere. And lo and behold, he died within a matter of a few months. Now, on his deathbed, I came to see him, and I was very, very traumatized. This was my second father that was leaving my life at this time, and I was only 12 years old. And he looked at my grandma. He had tears in his eyes, and he looked at me, and he said to her, "Don't let Matthew do what I did. Make sure he lives his dreams." Now, I want to tell you an important lesson. When you look at the 3-2-1 prosperity formula at my website, MatthewDavidHurtado.com, number one is to follow the fastest path to your joy in every moment. If you don't live from the place of your joy, you will not prosper. I'm going to tell you that right now. You will not prosper. Okay? Prosperity is all-encompassing. It's health, relationships, wealth, and it equates to happiness, true happiness in life. So what my grandpa did was he did what most people do. He said, I'm going to live from a place of necessary evil, and I'm going to get to a place of joy one day. Okay? I'm going to start here to get here. Doesn't work. I'm sorry. If you're doing that right now, stop. It doesn't work. Okay? Save yourself the time and the struggle so you don't waste another decade of your life. You follow the fastest path to your joy in every moment, and what that does is that aligns you and you together, and it puts you on your path of your destiny. And behind everything you're seeking is really the joy of having it. So it puts you in the vibrational proximity where you can see it, and therefore you can seize it. All right? And it gives you strength. The joy of the Lord is my strength. It gives you strength. And that strength you can use with a mission. And when you tie it together with a mission and your strategy, you are unstoppable. If you have joy, if you have a mentor or mentors, and you have a strategy and you have a mission, you are unstoppable. So just learn that. So if you're not prospering on all levels, I'll tell you why. Number one is you don't know who you are. You're coming from a place of I am less than because. First thing, I am less than because. If you don't know that you come from the fullness of the Father, that you are an equal to Christ, then listen to my past recordings, because I've been beating people over the head with that for a while. Now, some people have a problem with me because they say, well, you were a mystic and then you became like this Christian. And I say, listen, I've always found the truth, and that's all I'm committed to. I don't give a crap what you call me. You call me whatever you want, but I've studied all of the religions, and I look for what works. And I'll tell you what works. Coming from the knowing that you are an equal to Christ, that you are of the Father, that you are an equal in spirit, that is the truth. And if you come from that place, you have to recognize that that's who you are, right? And if you do that, it will change the quality of your action completely. You become what you contemplate. If you contemplate the likeness of God being in spirit as you become God-like. If you contemplate, well, I'm less than because look at all of my stories in life. If you live through your stories of life that you think are real, then you become a problem to everyone around you because all you do is contemplate problems. So that's number one. Number two, if you're not prospering, it's because you don't live by the seed. The kingdom operates on the seed principle. What you sow is what you reap, okay? Tithing, faith seeds, these are all things that the Christian world has taught and work, okay? I've demonstrated them. I live by it. It's a foundational principle of prosperity. Now, number three is if you're not living from your joy and you're trying to get to joy, you're doing it all backwards. That's what the world teaches you to do. It says that you're not good enough, so do this, and then one day you can be in your joy. No, you live from your joy regardless of the fallout. Doesn't matter what this says. This thing is lying to you. Your five senses are full of BS, belief systems, lies. So you come from your joy. So you got 1, 2, and 3. Number 4 is if you're not prospering to the level you want to be at, whether that's physical, financial, or emotional, it's because you're not surrounded by the people that are at a higher level than you. You're surrounding yourself with people that are at your level or below, because I'll tell you why. People that are like you are designed for your comfort, okay? People that are here are designed to make you uncomfortable. And if you're not ready to be uncomfortable for a season until you stretch, then you're not ready to have more, period. End of discussion. So your difference in life is where your prosperity comes from, and your similarity to others is where your comfort comes from. So if you want to be the same as all your friends and be comfortable, then enjoy your income, because you're going to earn the average of your 5 closest friends, and you will not defy that law no matter how hard you try. I'm sorry. But if you're willing to reach and you're willing to come to events, you're willing to go to places, meet people, get mentors, and invest your money into mentorship, it is the best investment you could ever make aside from the kingdom, all right? Trust me, I've done this so many times, and listen to anybody who knows what they're talking about, and they'll tell you that. So that is another foundational principle. So if you have those 4 things, that is really what it takes. That's really what it takes. Okay, so put yourself into alignment, do a self-checkup, and say, okay, I've done this, I've done this, I didn't do that. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I got comfortable, I got comfortable where I'm at. I mean, I don't really, they say that once you make enough money that where all your needs are met and you've got extra, that you lose your passion for more. And that's a bad thing. And I'm going to tell you why. It's bad because your prosperity is your ability to lend. Prosperity is the ability to lend. And if you cut off the flow of that, you're going to step into reasoning, and you're going to start living through your own reasoning faculties, and you will step outside of faith. And once you get outside of faith, God will come in and remind you that you are not living according to his will anymore. You are living according to your ego. You're designed to increase. God is by nature a God of increase. Okay? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, that God by nature is a God of increase. So if you're going to be God-like, then you must increase, period. So, all right, I said all that stuff. Just wanted to put that on the table. And, that's really what I want to say. I made a video about it earlier. I'm going to put that out. But guys, listen, Spiritual Millionaire Workshop 6 is coming out, and I want to tell you what it's going to be about. I'm investing a lot of money into training myself, and I'm going to work with some very, very high-end mentors, and I'm going to bring what they teach me to the next workshop, and it's going to be all about one thing. It's going to be all about money. The next workshop is going to be the money workshop, period. We're going to be all about increasing money. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, do not come to my workshop. If you have problems, then you think money's the root of all evil, don't come. Promise you, you're going to hate it, all right? Because I'm going to talk about how what you have is not enough, how you need more, how you should not be comfortable at the level where you're at financially. Because guess what? You should not be comfortable anywhere where you're at unless you are like about to die, because life is about increase. Okay. It's about increase on all levels. Increase. Because if you don't increase, you step out of faith and you step into reasoning. That's why it's a sin. You must live by faith. It takes faith to step into the unknown. And if what you have is the known, so if this is your income and this is your known, and you stay here, then you are living in the known, and that takes no faith whatsoever. That is a habitual way of enslaving yourself into your labyrinth of your mind, so you keep living by the who, what, when, where, why, and how, and separating yourself from your godlike power. So this is going to be the money seminar. It's going to be the money workshop, July 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. If you want early bird pricing, get a hold of Sabrina. You can allowuniversity.com, watch the video if you want. The new event venue is not up yet, but it's going to be in Green Bay or it's going to be in Milwaukee, one of those two places. And it's going to be a nice venue in Wisconsin. So you'll fly into Milwaukee on the 25th and you'll leave on the 29th in the morning or the late night on the 28th. And returning workshop is a good idea because repetition is the mother of skill, and plus the discount is substantial to come to it. And the people that you're going to meet are one of the most important things. People fly in from around the world, and some of the most prosperous people I've ever met come to these workshops, and that alone increases your mastermind.
Hello, I'm Julie with Allow Ministries on behalf of Matthew David Hurtado. Are you ready to end self-sabotage, procrastination, and distraction? Clarity, certainty, and a proven plan of action is what it takes to get anything you want in life. Training is the answer. Matthew David Hurtado's Spiritual Millionaire Workshop is the one-step solution that finally puts you in control of your destiny. What Matthew discovered about building a seven-figure business and perfect well-being when he was bedridden and bankrupt with Lyme disease is that mentorship is success without the wait. It works. At allowuniversity.com, you'll discover how to walk in victory. Learn how to prosper in every area with unstoppable daily habits and a step-by-step training to build your dream business immediately following the event, a success training for a lifetime of achievement. Walk in financial increase, living a life you love. Go to allowuniversity.com and say yes to your destiny.
Okay, this is how you get to know people. You can go to a Tony Robbins event and meet people like this. You can go to any event and meet people like this. But in an event where it's tight, smaller, and intimate, you get to make a real connection with somebody, and you get to be trained, and you get to learn what I learned when I was going from 0 with Lyme disease to 7 figures, going through all of the same problems that everybody has to face with. Oh, I have no energy. I'm so tired. What am I going to do about it? Oh, I'm so negative. I don't have any friends. I don't have any money. Who's going to want to talk to me? I'm not worthy. I didn't go to college. These are all the excuses I had not to succeed. I didn't have any education, okay? You see, I had to go through all of this to get to that level. And before I knew it, I was living in an 8,000 square foot palace, driving exotic cars. And you know what? Looking back on my life with a periscope, realizing that God doesn't respect any person. And if you know wisdom and you apply wisdom, you prosper, period. End of discussion. So that is what it's about. It's about training in wisdom. It's about creating expectation. It's about surrounding yourself with people that will cause you to reach and to stretch. And it's about just stepping into the life that you want now. So look at the keys that I talked about and do a checkup. Do a checkup on where you're at. And for everybody who's been at my workshop, I'd love to have you back because I'm going to reinvent the whole training. So just so you know, this next workshop is it's going to be reinvented. I'm going to reinvent the whole thing because I've got some new mentors now, and whatever they teach me is what I'm going to package, and I'm going to add on to the foundational training. You'll master the ABC, you'll master the sets, you'll master the safe touch, you'll master how to master yourself like I teach, but you're going to master everything else that I learn. And it's going to be all about how to go from wherever you are financially to 10x and 20xing that. Okay. I want everybody that's in this ministry to have so much money that you can be a positive influence in the world. That's why I keep beating home the principles of prosperity, because the kingdom is the answer. The kingdom is the answer. The kingdom is the answer. You must attain the kingdom, and all these things will be added unto you. You must activate the principles that release that force into your life. And when you do, then you can change the world, because your consciousness is in another parallel reality. You are no longer living as a decrepit, mortal, conscious human. You are a supernatural being with the kingdom consciousness, and that transforms everyone around you. That transforms everything in your environment. That brings transformation just by your presence. They say Jesus walked into a room and the whole room would change. Well, you're an equal to Jesus. And if you don't believe it, then you're in the wrong forum. You shouldn't listen to me, because I'm going to tell you that many times. If you think it's blasphemy, go back to your little religious church and go back to that slavery, because that's not what Jesus taught. Jesus said, you are an equal, an heir. You come from the Father. You're omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. So start acting like it. Start surrounding yourself with the best of the best in the world. I challenged everyone at my workshop within 30 days to get a mastermind group with people that were at least 10x where they wanted to be. I'm doing that myself right now because I know what it takes. I've done it several times. And like I said, just look at the story of sports. If you've played sports, then you know if you're at this level playing with people who are at this level, and then you go, like they always say, going from high school to college, the jump is like extraordinary, and going from college to the NFL or the NHL is another extraordinary jump. So if you think you're good here, you're nothing compared to when you get here. And if you don't think you have the goods, well, then you should recalibrate and reconfigure who you are. You are the Holy Spirit made expressed into the world. You are omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, God-like expression. So whatever is in this person is also in you. Now, I'm not asking you to go learn how to run a 4-minute mile and do 10 of them in a row. This is not an elite physical boot camp. This is all about consciousness demonstrating the kingdom principles, which equate to perfect health, financial prosperity to the point where you have excess all the time, and relationships that are loving, harmonious, and bring happiness to your life. That's what real prosperity is. Prosperity is all encompassing. If you don't have health, you're not prosperous. If you don't have extra wealth, you're not prosperous. And if you don't have loving relationships, you're not prosperous. So step your game up. Where are you falling short? Well, this is people up here that you need to get with these people. You need to train yourself how to master yourself. That's wisdom. And then you need to get with people that are going to cause you to draw out what's being kept within, held down by your reasoning. So get this. The reason why you're stuck, okay, in life is because you're in your reasoning. You are reasoning. Now, why you're reasoning is because you've decided that it's okay to stay here. And the reason why you've decided that it's okay to stay here is because you like the comfort of people liking you. All right? Because these people aren't going to like you anymore when you go here. They're going to resent you because you're going to remind them of their problem of staying here. That's why you're not moving ahead, is because you care about what other people think too much. And your mission isn't big enough. You don't have a mission. Because if you had a mission, then it would force you through the pain of not getting that mission into reaching at whatever cost, okay? These are things that we train at the workshop: pain, pleasure, all these things. But I'm going to tell you, for right now, if you're making $100,000 a year and you say, well, I just don't know what it takes to get to 500,000 or a million. Well, I'm going to tell you what happens right here. Your seeds, your faith is not big enough, okay? And your quality of your relationships are not at the right caliber, because everything comes in your life through a relationship. Your relationship with you, that's your training. Your relationship with God, that's your wisdom and your faith. And your relationship with your fellow man, your fellow manifestation of God, that's in your decision of who you're going to show up as in the world. Who are you worthy to be? Are you worthy to receive $1 million or more a year? Are you worthy, really? Well, then your 5 closest friends should be at that level too. If they're not, then you've just made an affirmation that you're not worthy, because you are finding comfort right here. You know, my friend who just, sold his company for 50 million, when I had a conversation with him, he reminded me, he said, I am very, very uncomfortable going into the local hardware store and talking to him about our company's blades. Okay. He says that frightens me. He goes, but I'll sit down with the CEO of any company and I feel right at home. See? Because his worthiness set point is already right here. He already knows he's worthy. And that's key number 1. And that's the key. If you don't have that key, then it doesn't matter what other keys you have. So what do you guys think about the transmission tonight? That's all I want to tell you guys. I just want to give you a reminder of, what it's going to take to get there. All right. So Audrey says, I need to get with people. Yes, you do. And you know what? They're available. I found all my new mentors on the internet, and these are some of the mentors you guys probably know before, and I want to do one-on-one personal mentoring with them. So that's going to cost a little bit of this. But you know what? A little bit of this, money means nothing to me. Like Grant Cardone said, you know what money's worth? It's not worth really anything. It's what you can do with it. That's where all the worth is. So if I have money and I'm sitting on money, that.
Hello, it's Amanda with Alpha Upgrade and Allow Ministries. Are you stuck in your finances, health, or relationships? Feeling burnt out, tired, even defeated? Like you're older than you thought you'd be at this point in your life? International #1 best-selling author Matthew David Hurtado was bedridden and bankrupt in 2009 with Lyme disease. After gaining a full recovery and building multiple 7-figure businesses, Matthew teaches biblical secrets of the ages that work, regardless of age, social status, or belief in competition. During the Spiritual Millionaire Workshop 5.0 in May, Matthew will release his new book, Gold Rule, for attendees who attend this life-changing training. Why should you attend? You're being programmed by 15,000 messages a day if you live in the USA. You need a vibrational weapon, like self-entrainment technique, to produce an immediate shift in consciousness and sustain it, raising your frequency. Whether you can attend or not, head over to gold-rule.com and opt in to get a free pre-release digital copy of Gold Rule. Gold Rule is the answer to clarity, focus, and a proven action-based guide to getting everything you desire. Go to gold-rule.com and claim your pre-release copy now.